I know how to set everything up. I was like, I want to start my own podcast. And one thing I realize is you go on podcasts, for those of you who listen or some who don't, there's genres. There are anything you can think of, anything and everything. But one thing I didn't find was positive news. I found news. I found political news. I found, certain things that sometimes highlighted positive news, but I didn't find a podcast or something that had a subject solely dedicated to positive news. So I thought to myself, you know what? Why not highlight people who are doing good either in the community or volunteering or stuff like that? And then I said, and bring them into a limelight. So that's kind of the play on words, Limelight Highlight. I highlight those doing good and I bring them into the limelight. So far, the limelight's not so bright, but
we're getting there.
We're getting there, building it up to have a bigger platform. But that's ultimately what it was, and I wanted to do it like an interview style base. I wanted to do video. I wanted to do a long base conversation. I basically wanted to be the Joe Rogan of positive news, But then my network in San Diego isn't as big as it is in Philly, so I ran out of guests really fast. And then I noticed, like, people don't pay attention too much.
Come on, Callie, what's up with you?
People don't pay attention too much if you're, staggering. So you have to be consistent. So I needed to come up with constant content. So I thought to myself, why not do a weekly podcast, 20 minutes long, release it every Monday or whatever that I started with. And then it was hard because I was writing a script out and it sounded so robotic. It wasn't natural. So if you listen to some earlier Limelight Highlight podcasts, you're going to be like, this is trash, bro. But slowly I started getting the knowledge, and it is where it is today. And I still want to keep growing and building, but that's pretty much, I know it was long-winded, but that's what it is.
Nice.
That's how I started anyway.
Cool. But how long have you had the podcast?
This specific podcast?
Yeah.
February was 2 years.
Nice.
So, it's what, February, March, April, May, June, July. So about 2.5 years.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's big.
At first, I was super excited to get like 20 downloads. I get weekly statistics. And to this day, Costello Boxing Gym?
Yeah.
So those guys were on the podcast last year. To this day, they're my most highly downloaded podcast. I think it's because they have like 1 billion family members and they all tuned in. But I had over 280 listeners or downloads.
Wow.
So that's my highest number to date, which is big for me. But I was averaging at that time only about 20 downloads. And now, being consistent and bringing them out, I'm averaging about 115 downloads a week.
Well, look at you.
Like, yeah, it's growing. So once again, I release one every week. So all my podcasts interviews that I've been doing this week will be released over the duration of the next several weeks. So I got a lot of content and I got a lot of time to build to try to find another guest while I'm out in San Diego.
I could bring you a guest.
Yeah?
Yeah, like a really good one.
When?
Well, aren't you coming back?
Yeah.
All right, so when you come back.
Okay. I was going to say, you come to San Diego?
I want to.
Everybody to San Diego.
I know. So, I was present when it was happening.
we try to bring everybody there because it's like, I love Philly, grew up here, beautiful. But a lot of times the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, I love Cali.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So you have been to
Cali.
Oh,
yeah. I love
What part?
Cali. Well, I've been to LA
Everybody
and
goes to LA.
Palm Springs. I haven't been to San Diego, though.
San Diego is like...
I low-key want to move there.
Yeah. I live
I
there.
mean...
But it's like...
If you have room.
So LA... I don't like LA because we grew up in Philly. New York is right up the road.
Yeah, it's like the same thing.
You go to New York, and New York is living, it's live, it's bustling. Then you go to LA, which in movies they always show like Hollywood Boulevard being crazy, and then I go there and it's all dark. There was a literal tumbleweed on the street and like bums sleeping on the stars, and I was like, this ain't it.
This looks like New York a little bit.
But I love San Diego because it's a place to raise a family. It's super green. Any beach you go to is about 20 minutes away.
So when y'all see me move and y'all see me living on a couch, it's because I'm living in the house.
I got a spare bedroom. Mash is sweet. Yeah, it's great. I love San Diego. My wife and I eventually want to have kids soon, so we plan on moving back to the East Coast. But
Oh, so I gotta hurry up and go.
yeah, you gotta visit while you can, because I ain't staying there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So back to GTalk. How many episodes have you had so far?
1, 2, 3, 4. It's a shame that I don't know. I think it's like 7 or 8.
And how long have you been doing GTalk?
Since July 27th of last year.
Nice. So you just hit a year.
Yeah. So I didn't celebrate the year because I didn't get my LLC until September. So I'm like waiting till September to be like,
oh, you had a whole
birthday.
LLC.
Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
See, mine ain't LLC.
Yeah.
I
went out and
nice.
I'm going to make this official. Why not?
Yeah, it's legit.
So
That's a
I'm
hard thing to
legit,
do.
y'all. Y'all probably didn't know, but I'm legit.
Like you, I am a one-man show. So I can understand the difficulties of constantly curating content.
Yeah.
To be, and getting people on, and now COVID, so people are very.
I don't want to do face to face, and it's understandable. I don't judge anyone, and like life has been happening for me, so like I get it. So I'm not judging. But if you want to come and be on GTalk, reach out. I'm not gonna say no.
What's one of the hardest things, what's one of the hardest parts about your YouTube channel as far as guests go? Like, do you have a guest in mind that you want to reach out to, or does each episode have a topic, or is it all about the guests when they come on?
So I usually reach out to people. I sometimes have a topic, and then sometimes I don't. And I'm like, hey, well, what would you want to talk about? Like, I think of people that would be, like, if I have a topic in mind, I think of people that would be really good for the topic.
Do you have like a vetting process when you get a guest, or is it just like, hey, you want to be on? And they say, yeah. And then it's like a really dry conversation.
No, I haven't had one of those yet. Yeah, no, I haven't. There was one time I filmed, and we filmed for 3 hours, and we didn't realize it was 3 hours until I looked at the content, because we were just having regular conversation.
It's like a time space where.
Yeah, and then one time we did 25 questions or something, like I think it was 25 questions, and we did it with the girls. And although it was very fun, the whole thing didn't make it to GTalk. Yeah,
it was just because it got cut out, or
it was really long, and they were drinking and being really loud. So I was like, oh my God, this is really good, but it's also really annoying. So I'm going to hold back. And I think I put like a clip out like of a few minutes, but it's never been dry conversation.
That's good.
So I'm very thankful. Shout out to y'all.
Those are super rough to get through. When you got to pull teeth to have a conversation. When they know they're going to be on a podcast, like, bro.
Yeah, can't relate. Sorry about that.
So what are some of the goals of GTalk? Like, what are your short-term goals and long-term goals? Like,
I
you
hate
got a
this
number
question.
of listeners or subscribers. You don't have a vision board? Where's it at?
I don't have a vision board. I should,
you always hear
considering the
about
friends that I have. They're very like, short-term goal, long-term goal, vision board. And I'm like, that's great, blah, blah, blah. All right. Honestly, I just want to put stuff out for people. I don't want this to turn into something that's like, oh, I have to do this. Like, I want this to continue being fun for me. Like, I don't want to lose myself.
You don't want it to become work.
Yeah. I enjoy it too much. Like, I haven't been consistent with it, and it's like, all right, it's not bothering me. Although I feel bad about it, I'm like, it's not bothering me because I started this for me, but also for other people, but because I wanted to do it. Like, not because someone was telling me to do it, if that makes sense.
No, I completely understand. That's kind of where I wanted to do, or that's how I felt in the beginning. Actually, I felt the opposite in the beginning. And then the more I listened to my friends, and because I met other podcasters through, especially during lockdown, a ton of like the Basement Binge. They do movie reviews, and I was on their podcast. And
Nice.
I was asking them kind of similar questions, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't want it to we don't want it to feel like work, so we just whenever we do it, we do it."
Yeah,
And
like
I'm
I have people. Keem is one of those people that's always like, "Well, when are you coming out with another one?" And I'm like, "Keem, like just chill. Like we gonna get we gonna get around to it." And then I have other people that are like, "Yo, like what's up? What's going on? Like you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like life. I have a life to live too. Like I don't catch everything on camera, and although I'm very vulnerable and I put myself out there on GTalk, like." It weighs on me too sometimes. So it's like I got to take a step back. So
yeah, I find eventually I adapted that, or I adopted that. I'll do it when I do it. I don't want to make it work. So I'll take a couple weeks off every now and then. But after I start seeing those download numbers, and it's like I want to keep doing it because I want to keep growing.
yeah,
Because I feel like I still to this day still feel like there's a huge void or space that needs to be filled with positive news versus all the negative news you always see on CNN or Fox or whatever.
Agree.
Everything's bad news, especially, and it's crazy because the algorithms in social media. So when I did the Enlightened Heathens podcast, we built a Facebook page for it, and all we did was share memes. We share. Sometimes we promote the show, but mostly we would share memes. We grew the Facebook page to about right now we have 47,000 followers, and I put up. I'll share something stupid, and people love it. People crack up. We'll have thousands of shares and likes. Right? No, nothing crazy. I didn't do nothing crazy.
I'm like, whoa, what?
Well, I shared an episode that I did on the podcast, or I'll share a post from the podcast. And the algorithm is so crazy in Facebook that I got 2 likes. 2 likes that are actually probably my friends who follow the Enlightened Heathens page. But out of 47,000 people.
So, see, that's the thing. And not just with Facebook, but just social media in general. Like, a lot of people think, like, oh, my God, I need to have 1 million followers or a certain amount of followers. And it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but if you're putting out content, what's the probability of those 1 million people following you seeing it, right? So I would much rather have 100 or 200 followers that are going to see what I'm putting out versus all of these followers. Like, I've never understood the whole, oh my God, I need more followers.
They want to be Insta famous and all that stuff.
That's great, but who's really seeing it? Mm-hmm. Like, even on Insta stories, like, you know how many swipes, just real quick swipe, and people don't really see.
Views, but it's not
people don't really see what you're putting out. So, yeah, it just, when you were talking about that, it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So.
And what bothers me, though, it's like, I could share something really fucked up on the Enlightened Heathens page, and people will eat it up.
Yeah.
But
like,
when you go and turn around and share something positive, the algorithm doesn't even let people see it, which is like...
That's the world for you, though. Like, even, like you said, the news. Mm-hmm. How many good things do you see on the news?
Barely any.
Exactly.
And that's another thing. I don't like sharing just... Like, there's a website that I like to go to if you guys want some good news, some actual good news articles. You're not going to see a video of it, but the good news articles is like goodnewsnetwork.org. I think it's a nonprofit. But they write and share good news. But then another one is like Sunny Skies, and they share good news. And I get a lot of my articles from there that I talk about.
Oh, I was going to ask you, where did you get...
Yeah, but some of those articles are like just feel-good pieces. So it's like dog pulls duck out of water or squirrel out of a pool or something like that. And like that's good news. That's cool. It's a feel good article.
That's nice.
But I want to share actual good news. Like one of my episodes I like to keep harping on is like the ocean cleanup.
Yes.
So I don't know if you have ever heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
So it's like the size of 2 Texas-sized states of garbage floating because of all the currents and stuff like that. It goes into this Pacific area near Hawaii, and it's a huge mass of garbage. So this kid, at the time he came up with it, I think he was 16 or 18, and he started this company called the Ocean Cleanup, and he created this book, this U